Who's hijacked the stream? Who's this? You've become more American by the week.
No, Justin, it's very, very cold. I hear it's very cold back home. It's the snow and the rain, storm. What was her name? Eunice, blowing trees down. It's cold. It's freezing cold here too. To be fair, just
it looks it. It looks it all. It looks it all. Oh look! Somebody saying nice things about us. Look at this here.
That makes a change.
Evening all. I'm enjoying my black bottle dram. Arrived safely, thanks. I'll be writing poetry by the end of the night.
Good man.
I actually wrote that poem on a Valentine's card, but she said no, and she took out a restraining order after that, John.
So that's normally what happens whenever you write stuff to girls, Justin. Restraining orders.
I wish.
Well, guys, how are we all? We're all keeping all right, and all the bad weather and stuff.
Yeah, everybody's fine. Mark Kerr got his black bottle as well. Yeah,
good.
And let me see. And Patrick Mulkey said good evening. Thomas Jones is saying good evening. Peter Stewart, he got his. William McLaren got his. Sean McLaren in Canada saying hello. Tony Sillett saying hello. Evening to you. Geordie Burke in Prince Edward Island saying hello. Michael Matthews is saying hello. He's on the Dark Celtic tonight. Yeah. Have you finished your sentence in America, Marty? Actually, it does look like a penitentiary you're in. Actually, that backdrop behind you, it looks like the watchtower.
No. Well, I'm overlooking Juarez, and if you, I've become kind of obsessed with checking out the news in Juarez because it's about 5 miles away from here, and it's like the most dangerous place in the world, you know. But I'm safe.
But that's a bit like Northern Ireland. TV it looked really bad, and 5 miles down the road, you know.
All I would say is, in the entire Troubles, there was more people killed in 1 year in Juarez than there was in 30 years of the Troubles in Northern Ireland. It's bonkers. No, it's I've become slightly obsessed with checking out the news.
Sorry, are you saying 3,000 people a year die through violence 5 miles away from you?
In 1 year, there was 3,000 murders in 1 year in one city.
My God.
Apparently it's calmed down now. There's only like 1,500. There's 12 people murdered the other day at a funeral. At a funeral the other day.
Frank Hearn, you summed it up. Marty looked like a rap star. He did. Yeah.
I should be singing at halftime in the Super Bowl, me and Eminem.
Yeah.
But it's that cold on here. I've got some sunscreen on, Justin, just to be sure. It's that cold.
I don't. I have thermal underwear on when I go out, just to stay warm.
Please don't mention your underwear on screen. Please, God, don't mention your underwear.
That's coming very soon. That's
on your only fans page, is it?
Yeah, I might start one. Yeah.
I need a drink.
Stranger things that we better not mention that. We might get CC Top.
Tres Hombres, CC Top. There's a review of this coming very soon from Balcones. Very nice stuff it is too. To be fair. Yeah. Justin, Peter, very sorry, but we opened your bottle of El Guapo. It's too nice to resist. But I will bring you. I promise I'll bring you a sample of it. Lovely stuff.
You didn't even. Are you going to bring me some of the bone marrow, or the Department of Agriculture not let me bring that in?
I was eating bone marrow last night, folks, and I showed it. Just says, "Oh, don't like bone marrow," but I showed him a picture of it, and it was absolutely delicious, absolutely gorgeous.
Oh. Hi, Michael Manches. I bet your luggage will be well scrutinized when you arrive home. I hope it isn't. I hope it isn't.
Hope not. I'm bringing a whole pile of samples for Justin to try whenever I get back. Yeah, will we do the news, Justin?
I think we better. We'll hit the button. Here we go.
Still love the thing, Jim. Still love it. Now, thing I have to put down. There's not much news on the Irish whiskey front this week. There's a couple of little bits and pieces, but the Irish Whisky Association have been lobbying this week to try and get tariffs reduced in Africa. Now, Nigeria is one of the fastest growing markets for Irish whiskey in the world at the minute, but it has a 20% tariff on it, while the likes of Zambia, Kenya, Uganda has a 25% tariff on it. Now, I know this you probably think, well, why would you worry too much about Africa? Well, they're actually selling 8 million bottles a year there now, which in the grand scheme of things is not massive amounts, but it's got huge potential.
Well, they do Guinness in Nigeria, don't they? So there is an affinity for Irish stuff in Africa.
So especially in Nigeria, I mean, Nigeria is the most populous nation in Africa, I think. So yeah, it's certainly something well worth looking into. Now, William Lavelle, who's talked about before, as the director of the Irish Whisky Association, said, "We are calling on the European Commission to seek tariff reductions for EU spirits exports, led by Irish whisky, to more African markets, while the EU has economic partnerships agreement with. Reduction of tariffs will help grow the Irish whisky export and support jobs and more purchasing of Irish barley. It will also reduce costs for African consumers and tackle the illicit trade, which is costing African governments substantially in terms of lost taxes and excise." Also, people copying this kind of stuff, who knows what the people are drinking. So, same as if you tax something, people are going to copy it. So that was basically the main Irish whiskey thing this week. We'll do touch on a wee thing later on. But
okay, this tax tariff is getting everybody nerky, isn't it? Really, it is, isn't it?
Well, let's be honest. Who likes taxes? You know, they're a sort of thing that is unavoidable in many ways. But if you can get the lower the tax, the better it is for everybody in terms of consumer and retailer and producer. But
there you go. Yeah, listen, we better give this a mention before. Geordie Burke saying finally got black bottle blended here in Prince Edward Island. What do you think of it, actually?
Yeah, hopefully you have tried it and like it. Do you go on and check that experiment thing, even if it's not the experimental series bottles? Do try that Sonic seasoning, because it's fantastic. Justin, you were genuinely blown away.
I was blown away. There's McConnell's is coming in Nova Scotia next month.
Yeah, enjoy that. The 5-year-old, well, good value for money. Really nice bottle. Good. Really nice bottle.
Yeah.
So yeah.
There you go. What's next tonight?
Next up, it's Campbelltown, formerly known as Whiskyopolis. Campbelltown is you've heard me talking about this many times. It's a kind of sleeping giant in Scotch whisky, in the whisky world. It's a whisky region that at one point had over 30 distilleries, depending on who you ask. About 30 distilleries in a village. It's not even a town. It's a tiny little place. Now there's only 3, but that's going to change. Now, R&B Distillers, who are the guys behind the Rassie Distillery, which is just off the Isle of Skye, fabulous place. I went and stayed there one time. Have submitted planning permission for the new Dalriata Distillery. Now, it's going to have a capacity of 850 litres, so it's not going to be a small affair, and it looks pretty good. So, you want to pull up the website, Justin?
Yeah, it's very impressive looking. That is very impressive indeed. Where do you see this? This fly through should work, and you might get a bit of sound with it as well. This window that goes up and down, or balcony for ventilation. Yeah, that is superb. That's superb looking.
People on the likes of hang on.
No, it just revolves continuously.
Well, you can turn it off.
All right. Hold on. I'll turn the volume off. There you go.
There we go.
How's
Good
that?
job. Better. No,
Yeah.
people over the likes of this part of the world looking at that, thinking it looks like a greenhouse. I would imagine on a warm day it'll be pretty darn hot in there, but it never really gets all that hot in Campbelltown. But no, it's like to be able to grow tomatoes beside the stills, you know.
Yeah.
Now, Campbelltown again. I've talked about this a fair few times before. Campbelltown really is a sleeping giant. It's a fantastic place, absolutely fantastic. And they have the mighty Springbank. Glen Scotia's there as well, which is not that far behind Springbank. But in terms of distilleries to go and see, it really is one. Now, I will just point out the company that have put in the application for this have a website, South Star Spirits, and they've released 3 bottles. Not really. Basically, they've released them to go along with the planning permission. SouthStarSpirits.com. They've released a Speyside, a Highland, and an Islay bottle. Not really sure the connection with Campbelltown, but there's only 2,200 bottles of each. Yeah, so it's if you're interested in that, go and check them out.
Funny enough, there's Connor saying he's on the Glen Scotia Victoriana right now.
Honestly, that's superb. Glen Scotia, for me, Springbank, in terms of a distillery, is just something to behold. There's not another distillery like it in the world. And a few pictures from the last time I was there. But Glen Scotia, the stuff that they make, it's fabulous stuff. And that Victoriana, I had a bottle of it a couple of years ago. I polished it off in no time. It's delicious, absolutely delicious. Now, Springbank have announced that they are going to release a new bottle. Well, it's a reinvention of an old bottle called Campbelltown Loch. What do you think of it? You weren't keen on that label, were you?
I like the bottle shape, but that bottle, it's a bit.
What? Plain? We'll put it like this: it's a sort of typical Springbank bottle.
Plain, something like that. There.
This is a blend of malt, but it's one with a little bit of a difference because it's a blend of all the current distilleries that are in Campbelltown. So it's got Springbank, Glengyle, or Kilkerran. There's a whole history behind that, and Glen Scotia are all in that. So basically, they've all come together. Well, Glengyle is actually owned by Springbank. It's all basically the same distillery, but they've incorporated Glen Scotia, which I like the idea that trying to sort of capture that sort of quintessential Campbelltown, fairly light, creamy.
What's wrong with a traditional sort of bottle like this here? Something like nice like that. What's wrong with that?
Nothing, but that was the old style bottle. So as Connor's just pointed out there, Springbank labels tend to be very, very plain. They're basically just does what it says on the tin. These days, it's almost impossible to buy Springbank because it just flies off the shelves. And I would imagine that that's probably why they have brought out Campbelltown Loch again, because it's there's no age statement on it. Most of the Springbank mostly has an age statement, the 10, the 12, the 18 and whatnot. So I would imagine that is why they've brought this out, to try and keep up with demand. Anyone, Carl will be on later on talking about what auction prices and stuff and what's been going on in the auction world. My advice to anybody that's wanting to invest in whiskey, Springbank hasn't exploded the way it will do at some point in terms of collectability. But there you go. So Campbelltown Loch hasn't said when it's going to be released. It'll be reasonably priced, I assume, probably around the £30-35 a bottle mark. So keep a lookout for that.
Yeah, be a nice purchase for that price. It certainly will.
Well, but like this, it's. I would imagine Springbank don't produce as much as Glen Scotia, but they employ vastly number of people, because if you bring up some photos of a couple of photos of Springbank.
Look at that there. Beautiful looking place.
Yeah, honestly, it's like something out of the 1800s. I mean, genuinely, everything's done by hand. It's all manual. everything. It's bonkers, is what it is. But it's about as authentic and traditional as you can possibly get.
What are those jackets round the stills again? What are they, Marty?
They're just heat jackets at the bottom. They're basically heat jackets to retain a bit of heat in them. But as they have how they manoeuvre their peat, and it's basically a guy with a spade and a wheelbarrow wheels, and it all has to be dunged out by hand. And there's no automation in Springbank. It's an incredible place. It really is. So
any word of us getting there? No,
possibly. You never know. When I come back home, we might be back. We might be back. You never see.
Look at that there. Even the warehouse looks like something out of Whisky Galore, doesn't it?
Yeah, well, that's a sort of touristy warehouse. They have other warehouses, but yeah, it's an incredible place. They do everything on site. So floor maltings, all of that kind of stuff. Lovely.
Yes. So where are we heading this week? Because we've got two guests to get through this week, and it's 1:15 already.
Jameson have launched a new global campaign. No, you're too far ahead. Too far ahead.
Too far ahead.
Go to YouTube for this. The comedian Aisling B. Aisling B or Aisling Bay? I can't remember. She's fronting this new global campaign for Jameson. So we'll play it and see what we think.
You know, we've all picked up a few how did I get here stories along the way to meeting those people who just
I guess you really had to be there.
get you. Because when you come as you are, that's when this spark just happens.
Yeah, come on.
And when it does,
Always ask them to pull up a chair. Just don't drag it. Cheers.
Jameson, widen the circle.
That's kind of what I think of that. I don't really,
Where's Joan Collins? Where's Leonard Rossiter? Where's the British Caledonian Flight? Where's the Cinzano Bianco going all over him?
It's just a bit. Let's be honest. Jameson doesn't really need much publicity. It's just widen the circle. There's a bit of the bit in it where she says, "We've always had a bit of how did he end up here." I've had a few nights like that when I've been on the whiskey where you waking up and go,
"Well, I was at the cricket club today, and the chairs at the cricket club, you can't drag them across the floor because they're that heavy, because they're the ones like the bank, so you can't throw them at the bank manager. Those ones, the weighted ones."
Well, have you ever been in a bank recently? They're awful. It used to be those all gilt and glass and stuff, and now they're like really run down corner shops. Most banks is awful. They're awful. But I see Connor brought up there. He said that Highland Park and Springbank are the only two that hand malt. Now, I think that's right, but there are some more coming. There are some of the newer distilleries that appear in Scotland have said that they're going to do hand malting and stuff. Financially, it doesn't make much sense, but well, we'll see. That statement might not be true in a couple of years' time.
All right. Well, listen. Can I put this headshot up? Because I want to ask people a question. Now, it's just for entertainment purposes only. This is not, we're not defaming the guy or anything. But guess this guy's name. This guy's an American. Guess his name.
It's about as American as you can get.
Chuck. It's Chuck. It has to be Chuck.
Nope. Chad.
Chad. Oh, Chad. All right. Is he a broken Chad? Is he a broken Chad? All right. Okay.
Chad McCoy is his name. It's about as American a name as you're ever going to get.
Right. Yeah. I don't know.
He's a Kentucky representative, and he has introduced HB 500, which is
that sounds a very hard pencil. That does. That's a classic. Sorry, that is good. That's better. That's funnier than Jimmy Carr. That's funnier than Jimmy Carr now.
I would not. Don't mention Jimmy Carr. He's a bit of a touchy subject these days.
All right.
Now,
Has he been cancelled too? Has he? All right. Okay.
Well, I like Jimmy Carr. He's actually quite funny. I've seen him a couple of times. He's dead funny, and he always does a thing after the shows where you can go meet him and stuff. Anyway, we're getting off the topic here somewhat. Now, anyway, he's introduced a bill, HB 500, with the idea of boosting tourism and legalising. Do you remember a few weeks ago we talked about the private select casks that have been sold in Kentucky, and they've realised that they're breaking a number of laws? Now, he has introduced this law.
That never bothered Bonnie and Clyde, did it? Never bothered Bonnie and...
They just shot people. Now, I'll tell you what he said. Now, the bill is... He said, bourbon is more than a cultural icon. It's a proven economic powerhouse for our Commonwealth. Even in the midst of a global pandemic, tourists are visiting the Bourbon Trail, consumers are buying special releases, and distilleries are investing in facilities. The provisions of this bill will help sustain the growth and introduce an additional draw for distilleries. Oh, well, very good, very good. Now, the bill would also allow distilleries to sell exclusive bottles at their gift shops, a privilege that already allowed to Kentucky breweries and wineries, as well as distilleries in other states and countries. In addition, HB 500 would let distilleries open a satellite tasting room at another Kentucky location, potentially bringing investment, jobs, and bourbon tourism opportunities to downtowns and communities across the Commonwealth. Kentucky wineries and brewers can already have unlimited satellite experiences. So basically what it is it's levelling it up for distilleries, basically giving them what wineries and breweries and stuff have.
This guy will never make president. That's my prediction. Because he knows what he's doing.
He has a bit of sense. Now, basically, I mean, when you think of Kentucky, do you think of wine? Do you think of beer? Not really. But you automatically think of whiskey and bourbon. So it seems
turkey sandwiches I think of, but
but I mean the thing is, it's ridiculous that this hasn't been. The forward planning. It's taken this long to get what is one of the big industries in the state of Kentucky on a level playing field with wine and beer. Seems strange to me.
Very strange. Very strange. Hope he gets it.
It's been put through. It's been put through. House Bill 500. I actually had a bit of a read of it. You see, if you ever want to like, you decide to end it all, start reading some of these House Bill stuff. Oh my good God. He just lost the will to live. That's the truth. How people write them up beyond me. But no, right. Skipping along.
Who was on the Maker's Mark tonight? Did somebody not say they were on the Maker's Mark tonight?
You were supposed to bring up Maker's Mark as a representation of Kentucky bourbon.
All right.
And Kentucky whiskies. And then you're supposed to bring up the Kentucky Bourbon Trail. You know, the other picture that I sent you.
Oh, yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
That was all incorporated in that, as I told you.
Right.
But you never listened to me anyway.
No,
Too busy swagging it down at the cricket club. Puns.
Oh boy. I was gonna say the word crease, but unfortunately we might get Zuckerberg if I mention the word crease, so we won't.
Crease? I got from that. Now, this is another story. This is the Scottish Whisky Association have won a 9-year legal battle to stop a German distillery using the word Glen. Okay? Glen Buchenbach have been using this for a while, and there's been a legal competition, and the EU ruled that they weren't allowed to use it, and it's been back and forth and so on. So 9 years. And the argument is that the word Glen on a whisky bottle is representative of Scotland or Ireland. And that then infringes on the PGI, the Protected Geographical Indication. What?
I have a way around this. If the guy changes his name from Adolf Buchenbach to Glenn Buchenbach, they won't be able to do anything about it.
They will. Doesn't matter. They will, because he's been told that he's not allowed to use it. Now, this is a small independent distillery, whiskey brand in Germany, okay, in the Black Forest and whatnot. And the Scottish Whisky Association, their job is to protect the Scottish whisky industry. I mean, we've talked to the Scottish whisky industry. Good on them for what they do. However, We have other markets. So we have it in India. I picked out India because these are enormous, enormous. This is called, in other places it'll be called McDowell's. We would pronounce it Madole, but McDowell's whiskey. Now, it's a very Scottish sounding name.
Here, that's like coming to America. You're in America.
Go up to the next one. We have Royal Stag. Stag deers and stuff would kind of make you think of Scotland. Okay, maybe not.
Monarch of the Glen and all that.
That
is the Monarch of the Glen.
this last one sort of takes the biscuit because these are massive brands. This is
no, that is Scottish. That one. It's called Bagpipers.
No. If you pull it up full screen, it's quite funny. It's a guy in a turban playing the bagpipes. Bagpipe. Now, the Scotch Whisky Association haven't really taken these brands on, and I think I've figured out why. Royal Stag's owned by Pernod Ricard. Madole's is owned by Diageo, as is Bagpiper. I'm going to say the Scotch Whisky Association's picking their fights. They're not going to. If I looked at Bagpiper, I would kind of think that would be more representative of Scotland than Glen. But I was going to say Glen Buchenwald there. No, we'll try and stay away. Jimmy Card's getting into problems for referencing this. Glen Buchenbach. There's. I understand the Scotch Whisky Association trying to protect all things Scotch, but they are picking their fights. Let's be honest. They're not going to take on Diageo or Pernod Ricard, but maybe they should. Who knows? Entirely up there.
I know.
And finally, what do we have, Justin?
And finally, hold
We've
on.
got a long lever.
Hold on. I'll hit it.
We've got a long lever. This was reported in the Sonoma News, Sonoma County, California. World War II veteran Ed Wallers, celebrated his 100th birthday with a casino, cars, and bourbon. So he was born in 1922, and his advice for a long life is live a clean life, respect your elders, which at 100 years of age is going to be a bit of a tricky one for him. Be honest when dealing with others because you will meet them again down the road. So congratulations to Ed. I hope you had a great day. And we've got a long lever.
I think that's his wife there and his daughter overlooking him. So he was missing something there to celebrate for his 100th birthday, but we won't go there because we will get Zuckerberg. What can I say?
Right.
Congratulations.
Now, we had to record our interview with Carl, our monthly interview with Carl. We had to, because you know what Carl's got? Carl's got a social life. That came as a shock to me too. Him and the wife sits away out on the boozle.
Well, actually, I almost do. I was out at the 40th birthday last year, but you know you're old.
Last
night. Sorry, you know you're old. Whenever I videoed this girl's 8th birthday, so I've booked in to do the video at her 80th birthday, so I will be 90 on that. So
I don't see you making it to 90, Justin. Don't see it.
Neither do I, thankfully. So
we had to record Carl during the week, so he's going to tell us all things auction related.
He is. Here he goes. Just want to cut to the chase. No, he's not going to. How much is Marty's the wrong place bottle that I have? I don't know why it does that. How much is it worth? Take him back. Just want to cut to the chase. How much is Marty's Loch Lee bottle that I have in my house worth? How much is it worth?
Oh, that was some release that they had. There were some that were being put straight on auction the day that it was released. Which
I actually saw one. I saw one appearing at an auction. It appeared at an auction, I think, before it was actually released. Which I wonder who was selling that.
Yeah. No, I mean, I was very lucky. I did get one myself.
Hey!
So as soon as I heard that they were being released, I needed to get one.
Yeah.
So I was lucky Celtic got their own little allocation, which
Yeah.
was great. And as soon as I saw it pop up, straight buy one. It would only let me buy one, but yeah, it's a great one. And
I saw them finishing up the one of the auction sites. I happened to look. I haven't been paying much attention to auctions, to be quite honest with you, the last couple of months. But I noticed that it was up about £250 from a £50 release.
The max that it went for has been €300, and the minimum was €143 so far.
Yeah.
So the average is about 160.
Basically tripling in price, but it's an inaugural release.
It is. It'll drop off in the next month or two.
So anybody hasn't got one, don't panic. There'll be plenty up here in auction sites, and you'll have to pay $250. But it's a keeper. It's a long-term keeper.
Absolutely.
But I want native. You see, I want native.
I have a few bourbon myself. I just got one today. Or I didn't get a bourbon today, but I got a bourbon influenced Irish whiskey today. The Dormangate there, the Peated single malt.
Ah, right, okay.
Not only was it finished. So this one here is a Peated single malt,
right?
Peated bourbon cask finish single malt, and it was actually it was this Kings County Distillery bourbon, Peated bourbon, that was used to finish this.
As I say, I haven't been paying much attention because I'm still here in the States, so I haven't really been keeping up to date with the whole auction scene. I've sort of dipped in and out here and there, but you're going to give us a roundup. Now, on the Whisky Companion, you had, was it 2 weeks ago or last week, you did a sort of roundup of the year type thing, and I think you're going to lead with that, aren't you?
Yeah, so I'm going to try and do every month an auction report for the market each month. So February was obviously looking back at January. So there's a few different nuggets in there now. So this one here, I just wanted to kind of show is just the sheer volume that's being traded at the moment. So overall in January, there were €17.5 million gross sales across the industry. Whoa. And yeah, so it's quite a lot, and it's a bit of a lower amount as well, because Catawiki, I only got part of the sales on Catawiki. I didn't get the full month. So you can see there, like the big one, Whisky Auctioneer, 6 million.
It's incredible.
It's unbelievable. And I mean, someone was even talking to me about this, and they were like 8,800 lots sold. They're getting £4-5 per lot. So you're talking, right there, 30 to 40 grand, just on the listing fee. So yeah, I mean, it's nice to see the kind of the split and where the gross sales are coming from. So you obviously have. Sorry.
It's surprising. I mean, I'm just looking at the figures there. I'm surprised. Celtic whisky auctions. You're sort of thinking they're a big name, well recognised, and yet they're only getting 140 lots. And you guys, like Whisky Bidders, seem to be doing, over twice.
They're pulling even more, yeah.
Yeah.
And then we've got Whisky Merchants on tonight as well.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't know how many they're going to have for their first auction.
I think they told. I think they tell us. You can stay tuned in and you'll find out.
Yeah, we've an interview coming up after this with Whisky Merchants. So, talk us through some more figures on this, because I mean the sheer volume that's being traded, and this is European, really, isn't it?
Unicorn auctions. Yeah, unicorn auctions would be the only US one. The rest of them would be UK and Europe. So Catawiki is kind of like an eBay type of thing, and that's based in the Netherlands. So people can upload their own whiskey to there and sell it that way. So that seems to do a good business every month. Now it's a rolling auction, so there's no dedicated auction time like there is with, the other auction houses. But it'll be interesting to see what they come up with now for February. I've seen like even just a couple of days worth on my logs, and they're doing like 70 or 80,000 a day sometimes. So, with 15 or 20 lots. So it'll be interesting to see that.
No.
The likes of Celtic, they've been, going a bit down recently in terms of lots and gross sales. They had a bit of a peak in December, like November, December, and they went up to, I think it was 350 lots or so, which was interesting. But it seems to be that Irish Whisky Auctions is the preferred one for Ireland, and I mean, it's a well-deserved spot. They do a huge amount, and
like this,
they're brilliant to deal with. Yeah.
They're brilliant to deal with, and the packaging. But if anybody ever looks at ordinary auction websites to maybe try and pick up memorabilia and the old whiskey bottle and stuff, trying to get it shipped is just a nightmare. I bought a poster and a bottle of whiskey one time, two different things, at an auction in the Republic. I think it was in Dublin, and to get a bottle of whiskey shipped from Dublin to Belfast was going to cost me £75, which was almost the price of the whiskey that I bought.
Well, I mean, it's not good. I mean, I had stuff sent from Germany there, and it was sent in newspaper. It was an interesting read, but you don't send bottles in newspaper in 2022, do you?
No.
Whenever you get something from Anthony and Katie and whatnot, I mean, it's you can drop it from the roof. You can drop it from the roof of a house, and it's perfect. So that is as big a deal as anything else. I've bought a couple of things from Whisky Auctioneer, and they wouldn't be as well wrapped as the stuff from Irish Whisky Auctions. That's
I totally agree.
What's the current value of stuff all being traded then? Is it in the millions then? In millions of euros?
Yeah, so this one here that I wanted to show, so the total for this month up until today, so there's been 8 auctions altogether, so 8 out of 16 or 17 that I tracked, so we're halfway there in the month, and it's 8.7 million at the moment.
Wow.
Is the gross sales, following on from a 17.5 million. It is bonkers when you look at the actual prices.
That's scary. That is
scary.
And
to be fair, if you're looking at the auction, you're looking at there. I mean, the gross sales for the number of lots. Irish Whisky Auctions, 1,090 lots, and the gross sales 2 3/4. 275,000, and then you just scale it up beside Scotch Whisky Auctions, and then scale it up against Whisky Auctions. But I mean, you think they're a small operation, they're not, and then you see the other stuff. It's just incredible,
It really is. It really is. And I mean, like, they hold their own against most of the other, there's some standout ones in the Scotch Whisky Auctions. So there's Whisky Auctioneer, Whisky Hammer, WhiskyAuction.com, which is a European one, and Scotch Whisky Auctions. They're all consistently above 1 million in gross sales every month.
Wow!
And then after that, it's pennies between Irish Whisky Auctions and any other Scotch Whisky Auction.
And I mean, when we consider some of the other whisky auction sites, the Scotch Whisky Auction sites have been going considerably longer than Irish Whisky Auctions. So
absolutely,
or whiskey bidders, I mean, they've come up really quickly.
Yeah, they really have, and it's obviously a testament to what they're doing, and people believe in it. So a long may it continue.
Exactly.
It's putting Irish whiskey on the map, big time.
But the other thing about it is, I know this. People are talking about flippers and what they're doing in that there, but the more auction sites there is, the more people do it. The less they have, the less the gap there is between the retail price and the sale price.
Absolutely.
But
and it'll be interesting to see now with Irish whiskey merchants. That puts 4 total in Ireland for auction sites, and it'll be interesting to see what that does to the supply and the demand.
Yeah. Well, I mean, people are going to be selling the stuff, so that's what happens.
There's no shortage of people selling.
No, there's absolutely no. I don't think there's any shortage of people buying either, and it's the same people.
Here, there's some classy stuff here you want to feature tonight.
There is
charity items.
Yeah,
charity items.
Exactly. I wanted to call this out specifically because, how many of these auction roundups have we done now? And we've never really talked about the charity aspect of things.
Yeah.
So this is something that Anthony and Katie started with Irish Whisky Auctions. And I believe every single month they've done charity items.
Yep.
And the great thing about this charity items as well is they actually pay the fees as well. So not only do the sellers not have to pay any fees, but they actually give the fees to the chosen charity of the seller. So it's actually 110% over the hammer price that they get, which is great. So in total,
that's generous.
From those three, from those three, they've raised nearly €7,000 in
a month.
Yeah, in a month.
Yeah,
so it's absolutely fantastic.
There's loads of there's people do this, but they do it consistently every month. Whisky auctioneers, the behemoth of whisky auctions, and they don't do this. They do the occasional charity thing, but they don't do it every month.
No, they do an occasional charity auction itself, which is dedicated to that. But I think this is a great thing, and I know Whiskey Bitters have tried to do it in the past as well.
Yeah.
They've only really started, so they may continue. But I thought I'd call that out because it was a huge amount that they've raised. So fair play.
Yeah, good on them. Good on them.
Mm-hmm.
So what's next?
I love these graphs.
That's because you're a nerd.
well, you always show amazing stuff whenever you think, I mean, this graph, talk us through it. Hammer prices for Middleton Very Rare 2019.
Yeah, so this one here, there's been a lot of chatter recently and people talking about Middleton Very Rare, and it is a constant theme in our chats, lads. But I just wanted to have a look at this because people were saying, the prices are starting to go up again, and now is the time to invest in MVR because it's just going up and up. And I wanted to look at this, and when you look at the actual prices and the average prices that's going on, it doesn't seem to be going up. But on the flip side, it's not going down.
Yeah.
So it has steadied, and it's steadied considerably. Like if you go back to 2020 and early 2021, when MVR fever, as they called it, was well and truly thing. 2019 was going up to 350, 400 euro, with no rhyme or reason. So I just wanted to have a look, and it's been fairly consistent around the 270, 280 mark, and I mean it's not for lack of it's not for an abundance of supply, that the price is stabilized. Like you see there in mid-July, or in between May and July, there's a spike. So that was about I think it was 87 bottles that month, and the price was basically the exact same as it was the month before when it was about 25. So
I know.
When you look at it from that aspect, there doesn't seem to be a huge correlation, especially in the newer versions, barring 2020.
What price is a 750 milliliter 2021? What price is what are they going for at the moment?
I can tell you.
I should have looked this up.
You have access to this, Marty. You have.
I know.
Maybe it doesn't work. Maybe it doesn't work in America. Maybe he's having trouble with you.
It works everywhere.
It works everywhere. A good app works everywhere.
The funny thing is, I actually had this conversation last night with someone about 750 versus 700. And in recent times,
if Marty leaves and goes to the nearest off license, you know why.
Well, actually, sorry. Just to go back to this. So it's sold 3 times on Whiskey Hammer, in the last couple of months, and it's gone for in January it went for 275 for the 75 CL euros.
Come on, wait. I'll see you later.
And then the other 2 were earlier in the year, so it was in July, and that was 225 and 238. So
okay,
it's above retail.
I think there's a bottle of it in one of the off licenses down here. I knew it wasn't drastic, but I knew probably, but not about
Well,
Hunters.
2020, you'll be all right.
2020. It just needs a 2021.
Yeah. I mean, in recent times, it's the gap between 750 and 700 seems to have shrunk a lot. The newer versions, the likes of 2018, 2019, and 2021, there generally doesn't seem to be a huge difference, and like maybe 10-15%. But when you go back for the likes of 2009 or any of the 1990s balls or the 2014, it seems to be on par, if not like 5% maybe difference.
Yeah. Well, I think the thing about it was Anthony I heard on, and he made a good point one time whenever he said that if you want a full collection of Middleton Very Rare, you have to collect the 750ml bottles.
You do.
The early bottles were all 750ml. So, you know, in theory, the 750ml should be more expensive.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, people always use the excuse, "Oh, it's my OCD that gets me for not wanting 750 in the collection." And it's like, well, the first 5 bottles were 750, so it's obviously not OCD.
People are trying to complete the collections, Carl, aren't they?
They really are. They really are. And this next graph just kind of shows that in a way, and it's kind of a reminder as well that these bottles do come up. So if you're not in a rush, don't overpay.
Yeah.
Simply put. So this one here was crazy when I looked at it. So back in November, we went for nearly €4,000 on Irish whiskey auctions.
This is 2003.
This is the Middleton Very Rare 2003. Yeah, sorry. And this month, it's two of them sold, and one went for 2,150 and one for 1,250. So the 1251, I believe, had a little bit of a damage. But
whoa, so we're talking a quarter to half what they were getting.
Big time. And I mean, in between that, you had 2 sell in the UK auctions in WVA, and that was in January, and it went for €1,200. For an Irish person, it's a bit tougher. Like for a Republican of Ireland person who get hit by the tariffs, maybe it's not really worth it because you'll get hit with like a €400 or €500 tax bill.
Surely you have a relative or a friend in the north somewhere.
That's true. Yeah, it does favour the people who have friends or family in the north.
Well, actually, what he said, don't send it to Justin, send it to me, because Justin was just drinking. Send it to me.
No, I used to do it with car parts. Car parts used to mysteriously rematerialize in Dublin somehow. But there you go.
Brilliant.
So you're going to be doing a whiskey roundup every month.
Yep.
The next one will be in 2-3 weeks' time, I assume.
It will, yeah. It should be the first week of March. So again, I have most of it automated, but just putting all the graphs together and
you'll have the whiskey merchants on it this time. You'll have the whiskey merchants.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. I'll have to figure out their website and scrape all their data.
Try and convince them to make it easy for you.
Does anybody block you from sending your spiders in, Carl, or most people know what you're up to, and it's publicly available information anyway, isn't it? Really,
it is. Like I haven't been told not to do it by anyone, and I hope that doesn't happen. But at the end of the day, it's all public data. I'm just taking it and making a very easy to search and pulling analysis from that. So. There have been a couple of websites that are tough to do it. Like I'm trying to do the whiskey shop auction over in the UK as well. And, it's not working in the way that I expect. Our website does a few silly things, so I'll get there.
We'll get there. So anybody want to find stuff out, go on the Whiskey Companion, download the app, and you can keep up to date with what you want to buy. Carl, thanks very much, my friend. Take care of yourself.
Thank you very much, guys. Go on, take it easy.
Hello. You're back again.
Back again.
You're back again.
We're not on camera yet.
We're not there yet because no.
Justin, it's that cold here. I've had to go and put a hat on.
I've seen that.
Yeah.
I seen that hat.
And I had to put sunglasses on because it's that cold and Storm Eunice. It's absolutely boiling here. I'll take that off. It's absolutely boiling here. So it is. Just spilled something.
Does your head get warm with that hat on, or does it help keep your head cool? Does it? A cap that?
Oh no, it keeps it cool. Honestly, it's the sun's just beating down here. It's beating down at the minute. So that was Carl with his whiskey auction roundup. And I know loads of purists just want to drink whiskey, but it is just absolutely collecting is now just a huge thing. And if you want to know anything, go to the Whiskey Companion.
No, this is a new thing, and it sort of crept up on everybody, I would imagine.
Well, yeah, the local guys doing their new whiskey auction. Now, the whiskey merchants a little bit different from some of the other ones. They have a standalone shop where you can buy things. It's direct, so you can buy bottles from their online retailer. They have actually a bricks and mortar retail shop, and also now they're bringing out a thing. I've just seen this comment. Now they're doing an auction.
Is Marty playing gigs in Croke Park this year?
Only if we can get 5 of them. Only if we can get 5 gigs. Yeah. It does look very. I'll put it on again. It does look very much like it should be a country and western singer. Yes, it does.
Yeah.
But to be fair,
Mark Kerr thinks Nike's the new sponsors. No, they're not.
Should anybody from Nike wish to sponsor the show, please contact myself or Justin at Irish Whiskey Review.
Yeah. Hold on to Ring Coots and Co.
Yeah.
Yeah. Shall I hit the button?
Irish Whiskey Merchants, new guys on the scene. Local Northern Ireland.
Ed has bakery, this place, so I can go and get something to eat while you're getting a bottle of something, Marty.
Oh yes. No, Justin. I was reading a thing the other day about at Culloden, where this earl was dying and he received communion and they didn't have bread and wine, so they gave him whiskey and an oatmeal biscuit. So that would kind of be what me and you could do. It'd be like a communion, almost a religious exercise. Now, we're joined by Connor from pretty much brand new Irish Whiskey Merchant, and who's got a bit of news coming up because they've got their first auction coming up very soon. Connor, how are you?
I'm not too bad, thanks. Thanks for having us on, guys.
No problem. Now, tell us about you have started. It's a slightly different thing you guys have because you have a shop first, so you actually sell direct to the public, and now you've got a whiskey coming. So, tell us all about how you came about this. How did this all start up?
Yeah, I suppose it's our founder's long time passion of Irish whiskey and something that he wanted to do. Like we have the physical bricks and mortars premises there, but when we moved into the online game and we had a bit more time in our hands over the last couple of years, as everybody's had, we got to thinking, and it was just like, okay, we'll put an online shop on, but we wanted to focus on Irish whiskey because we love Irish whiskey, we love the product, we love the story and the history of it, and we want to play some kind of small part in the future of it. So we developed the website, and it's first and foremost, it's a shop to be as accessible as it can be for everybody out there to buy Irish whiskey wherever you're at. And then as well as that, we made sure that when we were building the website that we had auction functionality, because we wanted to get involved in the auctions, because that's what keeps it interesting. When you get a couple of bottles in there that you've never seen before, you get really excited. So
yeah, it does. So this is a COVID project, is it, in many ways?
It is a bit of a COVID project, you know. I think that's probably only, but like I say, it frees up a bit more time there. You know, when you have a bit more time in your hands, you can get up to more mischief. So that's what we've done. That's what we've done. Like I didn't bake any banana bread over lockdown. We focused on this shop and this auction site.
Yeah.
You must have realised that I baked banana bread, Connor, because I did banana bread the first week of lockdown. Sort of went a wee bit viral, but that's another story.
It depends what you're doing with it, Justin. That was for a very specialist website he was on, Connor.
We'll not go there.
Please don't. Please don't. So you've got the shop up and running. The whiskey auction is coming on the 24th.
It is.
This is your inaugural whiskey auction.
This is our first auction, and because it's our first auction, it is free to register right up until the auction starts. So, you know, we've been doing a lot of marketing, and we're friends with a lot of the guys that run the groups on social media and stuff. And we've just been trying to get the word out there that, yes, it's our first one, and we love the support that we've had, and we've been so encouraged by the support that we've had by the whiskey community so far. But as well as that, we just want to get the word out there that it's free to register before the auction starts.
Yeah.
Are you an IT geek yourself, Connor?
I wouldn't say so. I've worked across probably for some of the big brands in the UK and Ireland, more in a digital kind of marketing capacity, but I wouldn't put myself down as an IT geek. I still need to give the boys a shout when, you know, I can't work my computer.
Yeah. I hear you, brother. I hear you. Now, the whiskey, as you say, it's free to register between now and the 24th. It runs from the 24th until
the 6th, Sunday the 6th. So we'll be closing at some point that night, depending on how much late bidding there is.
Yeah.
You know, so there's a good amount of time in between the start and the finish, and I say, like, we've got some fantastic bottles on there. And
such as.
Well, we just this evening there we've got one in. It's a 25-year-old Old Cumber, and you know it's actually in really good condition, and it looks fantastic. Just looking at it, but you know how much that would go for, I do not know. You know, I would say it might give a bit of competition to the likes of the Bushmills. Grand Cru, we've got one of those in the auction. We've got Brolock in the auction as well. But it's not just about those kind of marquee bottles that I can't afford myself. You know, we've got something for everybody there. You know, we've got quite a few of the Redbreast range. We've got Blue Spots. There's even a few Cologne ones there for the cult out there. You know, so if they want to get on, there's a couple of bottles of Cologne that we have as well. Like, so, you know, it's a nice range, something for everybody.
So in terms of sellers fees and auction fees, what are your fees?
Well, for the first auction, we have sellers fees of 2.5% and buyers fees of 7.5%. Wow. Now, the registration fee does change once the auction goes live on the 24th. It changes up to £5, but you know, anybody that's involved in the auction sites knows the crack there. But we just thought, like, look, it's our first auction. We need to make this as easy as possible for people to get on board, and you know, we'll build on it from there.
Yeah, I mean, that's as an inaugural auction, it's very, very cheap. It's cheap, you know, in terms of fees. Now, how many bottles do we have for sale? Do we have hundreds or?
We've capped it at 150 because, you know, albeit we've done some testing, and, you know, we've had some great guys from the whiskey community there helping us out with the testing, and the site that's been developed by Redback and Derry is phenomenal. But like, we wanted to keep it in around 150 bottles for the first auction because obviously, like, we're testing. This is our first auction. We're testing the functionality, just, you know, make sure that nothing goes badly wrong. We thought, let's keep it simple, 150 bottles. And as I say, that hasn't stopped us. Like, there's been more interest in that, and we've held some for our second auction as well. You know, just So 150 there, and as I say, there's something for everybody.
And do you ship worldwide, or and if so, what are the fees for that? Do you know?
We do have a shipping policy on the website, and that kind of explains all, where we ship to and the fees. It's generally, yourself, it's the legislation that's in the country that you're in probably dictates it more than anything. But the shipping policy on the website is very detailed, and we do have an extensive FAQs part of the website. I don't think there's anything that we've missed. If there's anything that we've missed, that is no one will add to it.
Yeah, do get in touch if there's something that you can't get. Now, do you have much of a collection yourself? I'm not a burglar, by the way. I'm not a burglar.
Not stored on the premises. I have a modest collection, and to be honest, it's only started maybe the last 3 to 4 years or so. Luckily enough, I started it before the lockdown, before things went completely mad. But I have a modest collection, and if there's the ones that for drinking, and there's the ones for keeping. I'm not at the point yet that they're all for drinking.
Yeah, I've a reasonable collection, and there's a lot of people have said to me, "Oh no, that's fantastic. You need to open that." And to be honest, I just can't afford it. You know what I mean? I have these bottles, a few bottles that are worth reasonable money, and I just can't afford to open them. That's just the way. And
that's it. And you go to a tasting night, and you'll have a small taste of something that you already have, paying over the odds for it.
Yeah, that's it. That is it. Now, as more and more people getting into the collecting of whiskey, it's become another sort of asset and another thing that people like to display that they have. Now, you have these unicorn bottles, essentially, is what people like to refer to them as. I mean, a 25-year-old Cumber. In some ways, do you see it getting even bigger or more of this kind of thing? Or is there space where Cologne, you mentioned Cologne, for example, Cologne becomes just too collectible to drink? Is that a danger, you think, with these kind of things?
I think it can be. I think, there will be ones there, particularly with Cologne being such a micro kind of distillery there. Brendan's done a great job and created some great products, and the following that they have on social media is phenomenal. Like I do think the collecting is going to be, I think people discovered Irish whiskey over lockdown, and I think it has become more collectible, and I think it's only going to become more and more collectible because would you rather put your money into cryptocurrency that's so volatile, or put your money into Irish whiskey that's, regardless of how much or how fast it's rising, it's always rising. I know where I'd be putting my money.
I will put it like this: even if the arse falls out of cryptocurrency, you can't go and get drunk on it. That's all I've.
Oh, well, that's it. That's it. If all else fails, you can just drink it.
But you're saying there about the likes of the Blue Spot is coming in. Middleton is probably making the bulk of your sales. Have you any? What sort of range have you on the Middletons?
Middleton, we've got, I think the oldest one we have is 1990. Going back there, having a wee look, I'll take a wee look. 1991, 15, 16, I think it was 2008 in there. A couple of the 2020s that, hard to get.
There'll be a lot of interest in them. There will be a lot of interest in them.
Yeah, and even I know you had mentioned it on our previous episode there, the 750ml bottles of the 2020, the American release ones. Yeah. There's a couple of them I've made it on as well. So, there's a good range. Like I'd say we probably have a good 12 to 15 bottles there in between 1990 and 2020.
Yeah. Now, you guys are based in the north.
We are.
Is that easier for you to ship stuff across to the various parts of the British Isles, the Republic and the mainland, or is it proving more difficult?
Do you know what I don't think we've been hit that bad. I think if put like this, so the politicians could get together with a bottle of something off the website there, they might actually sort it out and make it work for everybody.
I don't think
Well, they
that's not
could
going to
afford
happen.
it in their money.
Oh,
They
I
could
will.
afford it in their
So
money.
they would get it paid for. Somebody else would
They're
pay for
expensive.
it. Right, they're expensive, but that's not going to happen.
But I think like so far, broadly, we've been unaffected in terms of the shipping. There's a wee bit of, in and around the start there, with the protocol and everything. I think there was a bit more kind of anxiety in and around it, but things seem to have calmed down a wee bit now as well.
My impression of it was nobody knew what the hell they were doing, and one hand was saying this and the other hand was saying that, so people just said, right, we're not. I mean, the likes of when Amazon wouldn't let you buy a bottle, Amazon will sell you anything to anywhere and drop it out the sky into your back garden, and you couldn't buy whiskey. It was just ridiculous. But so you're looking forward to this auction, obviously.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be a fun weekend when it closes.
What's the best way for people to get in touch with you then, Connor? Is it via Facebook? Is it via the website itself? Do you prefer phone calls? Do you prefer people to call in person?
Whatever way they want, we'll accept all comers. Like I would say, the website is the most direct. It's monitored 20. During office hours. Facebook, we have our Facebook there. Whatever's easiest for people to get in touch. We don't mind if they phone in. We'll have a conversation with them as well. So any way at all. But my preference probably like the website's very easy to use there. It answers a lot of the questions that some people might have. But if they want a conversation about their collection, or auctioning more than one bottle, or whatever they want to chat about, like we're happy to take their calls too.
And do you do valuations?
We can do, yes. We have a couple of guys that work with us that will value bottles, so we can do that as well. Yeah.
Excellent stuff. It in terms of frequency, is it going to be every month or every 2 months or quarter or what?
At the moment, like we've set ourselves in our plans that we're probably looking at once a quarter for our first year. We've got a lot of other ambitious plans that we're working on at the minute as well, which, if you have us back at some point, we'll tell you a wee bit more about them. And they're just not ready to chat about at the moment. But we have a lot of stuff that we're working on at the minute. And I think just to be able to have that time, we've said we'll do the first year once a quarter, and then look at next year moving into once a month, all being well.
Yeah. So just sort of watch this space.
Watch this space, very much so. Yes.
Now, Connor, thanks very much for joining us, buddy, and we'll be in touch. And I'll get signed up straight away because I want to check out and see if Justin's going to buy me this Cumber bottle for
There's no chance of that. If anybody called Robert McCartney bids in anything, that's not me. All right, that's not me. All right. Congratulations, Connor. There. Thank you very much.
Thanks, guys. Bye.
You're hearing us twice.
You do. You hear yourself twice sometimes, just the way it works. That's the way it goes.
Justin, it's so cold here. I'm absolutely so cold here.
It really is freezing here. It's actually that cold when you go for a walk. You feel sore because it's so cold.
That's a bit like me. I feel really sore when I have to go for a walk here because it's about 3 miles to go and get a loaf of bread, to be honest. But anyway, I noticed a couple of comments there. Connor said the old Cumber 25 isn't a patch on the 7. The 25, this is a unicorn bottle. There hasn't been one of these sold, and I would imagine this will go for a substantial amount of money. If you haven't ever bought an auction or one of the Whiskey auctions, it's free to register. Do have a look at it because you can pick up bargains there too. It's not everything that goes for sky high amounts of money. It goes for reasonable amounts of money. So good luck to them, whiskey merchants.
Absolutely. Great show this week. Great show coming next week. Some fantastic stuff in the pipeline as well, Marty.
Justin, I seem to be spending more and more time doing this. It was just a bit of a laugh, but I've been talking to some big guys, big guys about coming on the show. So hopefully we'll get them very shortly.
All right. Who's coming on? Who's lined up next week? Can you remember?
You tell me.
Can't remember because I never look at the thing.
We're still in the States. We're going to Chicago, the Windy City. Oh, we can't sing. That's right. Zuckerberg will put us on there. Yeah.
The Sláinte Whisky Festival in Chicago is on next week. So we'll be hearing it all from them. So catch you again. Thanks for watching, everybody. Remember to comment, like, and share. We're on Facebook. We're on YouTube. We're on LinkedIn. We're on Twitch. We're on Instagram. We're on wherever you get your podcast from. Ask your smart speaker to play Irish Whiskey Review Podcast, and we will pop up. Let me see. What is it? Gosh, it's going mad now at the minute. What's this say? Michael Matthews, another legend of the drinks business, was lost today. Oliver McConnell of Dick Max and Dingle passed away today.
Sorry to hear that.
Didn't know that.
Condolences to all his family.
Night one and all. Okay. And Patrick Mulkey sends for the great evening. Yes, it's one of those winter comforters, and isn't it? It's just
it's freezing here. Just
freak's sake.
Oh, it's not freezing. I'm going to go and have a nice beer out the fridge. See if I can get them. Vitamin D is supposed to. They found out vitamin D wards off COVID.
Don't be catching it on the way back.
I won't. Don't you worry. I'll have enough whiskey in me that COVID will be scared to come near me.